Did India hit Trump's crypto farm in Jacobabad? This is the reason Trump is angry. What you are about to hear is a hypothetical scenario. It is a work of speculative analysis, a tapestry woven from disparate threads of public information, open-source satellite imagery, and political conjecture. It presents a theory that connects a precise military action in the heart of South Asia to a sudden, perplexing, and seemingly irrational shift in global politics. This narrative aims to explore a question, not to state a fact. What was the true nature of the energy center at Jacobabad, and could its destruction have secretly triggered a geopolitical firestorm driven by personal financial interests rather than state policy? Our story ignites in the tense, politically charged aftermath of a regional conflict, with a stunning and almost deceptively simple announcement from the Indian Air Force Vice Chief. He confirmed, during a routine press debriefing, that Indian fighter jets had successfully executed a precision strike against a facility described merely as an energy center, located within the perimeter of the Jacobabad airport in Pakistan. On the surface, this was a standard military communique, a successful mission neutralizing a piece of enemy infrastructure, a footnote in a larger conflict. But for the curious and the skeptical, this description felt incomplete. A closer examination of this so-called energy center, using commercially available satellite imagery and digital forensics, begins to unravel a much more complex, confounding, and ultimately explosive narrative. The building and its immediate surroundings were riddled with glaring anomalies, features that defied conventional military or civilian logic, pointing inexorably towards an operation of an entirely different and clandestine nature. The first cluster of red flags pertains to the facility's fundamental layout, specifically its access and security protocols. For a structure located within the supposed sanctuary of a sensitive military airbase, its design was bafflingly insecure. Satellite imagery clearly reveals two separate and distinct access roads that originate from outside the main airbase perimeter. These roads allow vehicles and personnel to enter and exit the compound directly, bypassing the primary layers of military security, the main gates, checkpoints, and patrols that would typically protect a strategic asset. This is a profound departure from standard military doctrine, which emphasizes layered, concentric rings of security designed to protect high-value targets. Vital installations are traditionally buried deep within a base's core, insulated by multiple security barriers. The Jacobabad facility, however, was engineered for easy, discreet access from the outside world. This lax security posture stands in stark, almost defiant, contrast to other known high-value Pakistani military installations. The prime example is the suspected command and control bunker at Murid Airbase, a facility notoriously well-defended, protected by formidable double fencing, electronic surveillance, and multiple, heavily manned checkpoints. The Jacobabad Energy Center, despite its apparent importance suggested by its infrastructure, had none of these critical security features. It was suspiciously vulnerable, almost as if it were designed to operate as a separate, self-contained entity. A tenant, operation leasing space and plausible deniability from the host base, rather than being an integral part of Pakistan's military apparatus. This design suggests a deliberate effort to separate the facility from the formal military chain of command and its attendant oversight. The physical infrastructure of the site only serves to deepen the mystery, transforming suspicion into profound curiosity. The most visually arresting feature is a vast, dedicated solar array sprawling across a significant acreage adjacent to the main building. These are not merely a few supplementary panels to power administrative offices or perimeter lighting. This is an industrial-scale power generation plant, an off-grid behemoth capable of producing a massive, reliable, and constant supply of electricity. Even more telling is the large, undeveloped tract of land directly next to the existing solar farm that has been recently and meticulously cleared of all obstructions. The pattern of this clearance, visible from orbit, strongly suggests meticulous preparations for a significant expansion, a second phase of construction that could have doubled or even tripled the facility's power generation capacity. This points to an operation with an insatiable and ever-growing appetite for electricity, far exceeding the needs of any simp. the support building, or even a conventional command post. It speaks to a process that consumes power on an exponential scale, and one that required its energy source to be independent, untraceable, and off the national grid. But the most compelling, and for our hypothesis, damning piece of evidence sits perched atop the roof of the main building. It is blanketed with an unusually large and dense array of HVACs, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning units. The sheer number of these industrial-grade cooling systems is wildly disproportionate to the building's modest footprint. When compared to other structures of similar size on different air bases, the Jacobabad facility possesses a cooling capacity that is, without exaggeration, off the charts. Both professional intelligence analysts and amateur satellite watchers made a crucial observation. This single building appeared to have more dedicated HVAC units than even the sophisticated, largely underground, and notoriously heat-generating command and control center at Murid. This is the critical clue. Why would a simple energy center require a cooling system on par with, or even exceeding, a top-secret subterranean bunker packed with the most advanced electronics a state can procure? The logical answer is that it wouldn't. A command center, while generating significant heat from servers and communication arrays, is primarily an information processing hub. But an operation that combines a colossal, independent power source with an equally colossal need for atmospheric cooling points in one very specific, very modern direction: a large-scale, clandestine cryptocurrency mining farm. Cryptocurrency mining, especially for established proof-of-work currencies like Bitcoin, is a brute-force industrial process disguised as a digital one. It involves running thousands of specialized, high-performance processors, known as application-specific integrated circuits, or ASIC, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, at maximum capacity. These machines perform a single, relentless function. They execute trillions of mathematical calculations per second to validate transactions and secure the blockchain. This process consumes an astronomical amount of electricity. This perfectly explains the necessity of a dedicated, expandable, and massive off-grid power source like the solar farm. It provides untraceable, and after the initial capital outlay, virtually free electricity without alerting national energy authorities to its anomalous consumption. Furthermore, this intense computational labor generates a correspondingly immense amount of waste heat. A single mining rig can radiate heat like a small oven. A warehouse packed with thousands of them becomes a literal furnace. Without an extreme, constant, and reliable cooling solution, the delicate silicon processors would quickly overheat, degrade, and suffer catastrophic failure. The massive array of HVACs and the likely need for sophisticated clean air filtration systems are therefore not anomalies for a crypto farm. They are an absolute, non-negotiable necessity for its very existence and profitability. This is where our hypothesis takes its most audacious turn, connecting this secret, high-tech industrial facility to one of the world's most powerful and controversial figures, then U.S. President Donald Trump. It has long been rumored in certain financial and intelligence circles that Trump, ever the unconventional businessman, has been involved in discreet, off-the-books financial ventures, including forays into the volatile and unregulated world of cryptocurrency. In this speculative framework, Pakistan, a complex and often transactional ally with a documented history of accommodating sensitive and deniable U.S. operations, provides the perfect, low-profile international backdrop. The choice of location, Jacobabad Airbase, is nothing short of strategically brilliant for such a covert enterprise. The base has a well-known and long-standing history of hosting a significant U.S. military and intelligence presence. This established American footprint provides the perfect logistical and security cover. High-end, specialized crypto mining hardware, manufactured in the United States or Asia, could be loaded onto unmarked or diplomatically cleared U.S. Air Force cargo planes. These aircraft could land at Jacobabad under the completely plausible guise of routine military logistics, delivering computer equipment, server racks, or communications gear for the American contingent on base. No one would bat an eye. The crated mining rigs would be offloaded and transported directly to the pre-prepared facility, all within the secure confines of the base, far from the prying eyes of Pakistani customs officials or inquisitive local authorities. The entire operation could be set up and brought online by American contractors or intelligence operatives, with the solar farm providing the untraceable power, ensuring the farm's massive energy signature doesn't appear on Pakistan's national grid and raise awkward questions. It is the model of a perfect, plausibly deniable black site financial operation. This theory provides a powerful, if speculative, explanation for what happened next on the world stage. A sudden, dramatic, and seemingly inexplicable shift in Donald Trump's foreign policy. In the initial stages of the renewed India-Pakistan conflict, Trump's public posture was one of characteristic detachment and mild narcissism. He offered to mediate, positioning himself as the indispensable dealmaker, but otherwise seemed disengaged, treating the flare-up as just another perennial regional spat in which he had little direct stake. But then, almost overnight, his entire demeanor and policy transformed. In the days immediately following the reported date of the Indian airstrike on Jacobabad, his administration took a sharp, aggressive, and highly punitive anti-India stance. He began to publicly excoriate India's leadership with uncharacteristically harsh language, and most significantly, he unilaterally imposed a series of damaging economic tariffs against India, seemingly out of nowhere. The international diplomatic community was baffled. The move lacked a clear strategic rationale. What could have possibly provoked such a sudden and intensely personal-feeling reversal? If the Indian jets, in targeting a vaguely defined energy center, had unwittingly vaporized a multi-million, or perhaps even $1 billion personal financial project secretly owned by or directly benefiting Donald Trump, his reaction is no longer baffling. In fact, it becomes entirely predictable. The strike would not have been perceived as a mere act of war between two other nations. From his perspective, it would have been a direct and devastating blow to his personal wealth and a symbol of his business acumen. The man who famously wrote The Art of the Deal and has meticulously crafted his entire public persona around his financial success and invincibility would not process this event as a geopolitical setback. He would process it as a personal, costly, and infuriating attack. In this revealing light, his subsequent actions are not those of a statesman navigating complex foreign policy, but of a wounded and enraged investor seeking retribution. The angry rhetoric, the punitive tariffs, the sudden and vocal pro-Pakistan tilt, they were not calculated moves on the grand chessboard of international relations. They were, in this hypothetical scenario, acts of personal revenge. India had unwittingly hit him where it hurt the most, his bottom line. His well-documented love of money is not a secret. It is central to his brand and identity. The sudden, venomous shift in his administration's policy makes perfect, logical sense if viewed not through the detached lens of a president protecting his nation's strategic interests, but of a tycoon avenging a massive, secret financial loss. The secret crypto farm at Jacobabad, powered by the Pakistani sun and cooled by a forest of American-made HVACs, may have been the invisible key, the hidden variable that unlocks the entire mystery of a president's sudden and inexplicable fury. It suggests that sometimes the true levers of global power are not found in treaties or embassies, but are hidden in the balance sheets of the powerful.